Aha! You have got your desserts at last! What's the matter with your eye?
Boy tried to gouge it out without my consent. He's in bed now and his ma is poulticing him. She says he'll be out about the last of next week.
Oh, you are going to be a prize fighter, ain't you? When a boy leaves a job where he's working and goes to loafing around, he becomes a fighter the first thing. What your pa to do is bind you out with a farmer where you'd have to work all the time. I wish you would go away from here because you look like one of these fellas that comes up before the police judge Monday morning and gets 30 days in the house of correction. Why don't you go out and loaf around a slaughterhouse where you would look appropriate?
Well, if you've got through with your sermon, I will toot a little on my horn. If you had this black eye and got it the way I did, it would be a more priceless gem in the crown of glory you hope to wear than any gem you get by putting quarters in the collection plate, the holes filled with lead as you did last Sunday when I was watching you. Oh, didn't you look pious when you picked that filled quarter out and held your thumb over the place where the lead was? The way of the black eye was this. I got a job tending a soda water fountain, and last night, just before we closed, there was 2 or 3 young loafers in the place, and a girl came in for a glass of soda.
Excuse me.
5 years ago, she was one of the brightest scholars in the word school when I was in the intermediate department. She was just as handsome as a peach and everybody liked her. At recess, she used to take my part when the boys knocked me around. She lived near us. She had a heart as big as that cheese box, and I guess that's what's the matter. Anyway, she left school, and then it was said she was going to get married to a fellow who's now in the dude business. But he went back on her, and after a while her ma turned her out of doors. For a year or two, she was jerking beer in a concert saloon, until the mayor stopped concerts. She tried hard to get sewing to do, but they wouldn't have her. I guess 'cause she cried so much when she was sewing, and the tears wet the cloth she was sewing on. Once I asked Pa why Ma didn't give her some sewing to do, and he said for me to dry up and never speak to her if I met her on the street. As big as marbles, and not to speak to her when I know her so well and she had been so kind to me at school just 'cause the dude wouldn't marry her, but I wanted to obey Pa, so I used to walk around a block when I see her coming, 'cause I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Well, last night she came in the store looking pretty shabby and wanted a glass of soda, and I gave it to her. And oh, how her hand trembled when she raised the glass to her lips, how wet her eyes were, how pale her face was. Here you go. I choked up so I couldn't speak when she handed me the nickel, and when she looked up at me and smiled just like she used to, said I was getting to be almost a man since we went to school at the old schoolhouse, put her handkerchief to her eyes. By gosh, my eyes got so full I couldn't tell whether it was a nickel or a lozenge she gave me. Just then, one of those loafers began to laugh at her and call her names and say the police ought to take her up for a stray. He made fun of her until she cried some more, and I got hot. I went around to where he was and told him if he said another unkind word, I'm gonna maul him. He laughed and asked if she was my sister, and I told him that a poor, friendless girl who was sick and in distress and who was insulted ought to be every boy's sister for a minute, and any boy who had a spark of manhood should protect her. And then he laughed and said I ought to be one of the little sisters of the poor. He took hold of her faded shawl and pulled the weak girl against the showcase and said something mean to her. She looked as though she wanted to die, and I mashed that boy one right on the nose. Well, the air seemed to be full of me for a minute, 'cause he was bigger than me, and he got me down and got his thumb in my eye. I guess he was going to take my eye out, but I turned him over and got on top, and I mauled him till he begged. But I wouldn't let him up till he asked the girl's pardon and swore he would whip any boy that insulted her. And then I let him up, and the girl thanked me, but I told her I couldn't speak to her 'cause she was tough, and Pa didn't want me to speak to anybody who was tough. But if anybody ever insulted her so she had to cry, that I would whip him if I had to take a club. I told Pa about it, and I thought he would be mad at me for taking the part of a girl that was tough. But by gosh, Pa hugged me, and the tears came in his eyes, and he said I had got good blood in me, and I did just right. And if I would show him the father of the boy that I whipped, Pa said he would whip the old man. And Ma said for me to find the poor girl and send her up to the house, and she would give her a job making pillowcases and nightshirts. Don't it seem darn queer to you that everybody goes back on a poor girl 'cause she makes a mistake, and the blasted whelp that is to blame gets a chromo? Makes me tired to think of it.
Say, young fella, you are a thoroughbred, and you can come in here and get all the heroin you want. Never mind the black eye. I wish I had it myself. Yes, it does seem tough to see people never allow a girl to reform.
Well, I'll see ya. I must go down to the Sweet and Wind factory and jerk soda.